Hello all, welcome to my channel at the rate Test with Akshay. In this tutorial, we will see the introduction to Selenium. Okay, so if you are the new viewer guys, you can just subscribe to my channel and you can hit the bell icon so that you will get the notification of the coming video. Okay, so let's get started. So first question is guys, what is mean by Selenium? I found many people saying that Selenium is a tool. So this is the wrong definition, guys. Selenium is not a single tool. I found many people saying simply that Selenium is a tool. Actually, it's not a tool, guys. It's a collection of the tool, or it's a suite of the tool, or it's a collection of the tool. And when comes to the definition, I would say Selenium is a collection of the tool which is designed in order to perform the automation testing. Okay, so whatever the developer were there, they perform the tool in order to automate the actions, whatever the actions we perform during the testing. So in order to automate those actions, those developers created this tool. Actually, it's not a tool, it's a collection of the tool. I'll go to the Selenium official website and I'll show you what are the different tools in the Selenium. Okay, before going to the tools, before showing the tools, I'll write the tools here. I mean, what are the different tools Selenium has, or what are the different components Selenium has? So actually, guys, in Selenium there are four different types of component. When it comes to components, or when it comes to tool, when it comes to component, there are four different types of tools or components are present. We can say the different components of the Selenium, that is Selenium RC, Selenium Grid, Selenium IDE, and Selenium WebDriver. Okay, I'll show you this on the official website of the Selenium. For that, I'll go to the Chrome. Just a minute. So here's a Chrome, and I will write here Selenium. Okay, I'll write here Selenium in the Chrome after in the Google Chrome. So you can see the first website we got here, that is selenium.dev. So selenium.dev is the official website, guys. We'll click on this official website and getting started here, and we can see there are three options where we can see here. First one is a Selenium WebDriver, one is a Selenium IDE, third one is a Selenium Grid. Okay, so all these are the Selenium tools, guys. Okay, so Selenium, whatever the Selenium we are just looking into, it's not a single tool, guys. It's a collection of the tool. Okay, it's a collection of the tool, having the WebDriver as a one of the component, ID is a component, and Grid of the component. Okay, so but I already told you guys, actually in the Selenium we have these four components, but on the official website there are three components only. It is because in October 2008, guys, actually sorry 2000, when it comes to Selenium RC. So 2008, guys. Okay. So in 2008, this Selenium RC got deprecated by guys. Actually, it's not been used or by the industry. So Selenium RC got deprecated, or the it's got deprecated by the Selenium itself. That means they deprecated this tool. It's no longer in use, Selenium RC. So that's why it is not showing in the Selenium official websites. So that's why it is showing only three tools. That is Grid, IDE, and WebDriver. Okay, Selenium RC got deprecated, guys, in I would say in October 2008. In October 2008, the Selenium RC got deprecated. Okay, so this is about the different component of the Selenium. And again, the next question is the what is the history of the Selenium? So it's not the interview point of question, guys. I'm just telling you, just a part of interest, so you guys can relate with the Selenium. No one will ask you this type of question or what is the history of the Selenium in the interview. So you can completely ignore this, or you can just listen this. Only people will ask you about the Selenium WebDriver. That is the main component of the Selenium. So when it comes to history, guys, the history started. Selenium history started long back in not very long back, or it's back started back in 2004, guys. There was a scientist, his name was Jason Huggins, and he was working in the software company naming ThoughtWork. So he was a developer in the ThoughtWork, and he was working on one web applications. So along with this Jason, there were some manual testers who were testing those web applications. I mean, the Jason was developing the applications, and the manual tester were continuously testing the application. So in this process, Jason found that these whatever the manual testing process is, it's a repetitive task and the tester has to do the same task and again. So Jason thought there should be tool which should automate these actions, whatever the actions the testers are performing on the web applications or the browser. So Jason thought there should be tool which should be able to automate these actions which the testers are performing on the applications or the browser. So that's where the actual journey begins, guys, where Jason thought of that, and he started working with the JavaScripts, and he created its first tool, that is a JavaScript test runner. So he came up with the JavaScript test runner as a tool, and in 2004, and later on he just gave the name to that JavaScript test runner as a Selenium. Actually, there is another history. Actually, there was a company. His name was Mercury, and this company was got bankrupt, and at that time, those this developer created new tool, this JavaScript test runner, and so they thought that. Selenium is the very important components, and this JavaScript test runner was going to be important for the Mercury company, so that's why they named it as a Selenium. Okay, so coming forward in 2005, there was another scientist, Paul Hammett. So Paul Hammett did some modification, or he overcome the limitations of the Selenium or the JavaScript test runner, and he introduced a new tool, that is a Selenium RC. Selenium RC was allowing the testers to write the scripts for the multiple browser. Coming forward in 2007, there was another scientist, guys. His name was Simon Stewart, and he was a ThoughtWorks engineer. He also was from the same company. All the scientists were from the same company, that is ThoughtWorks. So he just came up with another tool to the Selenium RC, and that was the Selenium WebDriver. And actually, in WebDriver, he addresses some of the limitations from the Selenium RC, and he came up with new tool, that is Selenium WebDriver. And then later they realized that the Selenium WebDriver is more stable and having the good approach for the different browser. So so it became the main component in the coming times. In coming forward in 2008, guys, whatever the Selenium WebDriver project was created by the Simon Stewart and the Selenium RC, these two projects got merged into the Selenium, and these Selenium came up, I mean the company came up with the new tool, that is Selenium 2. Means actually this is the first time they launched the Selenium, that is Selenium 2. And in the Selenium 2, WebDriver became the primarily automating tool, guys, automation tool. And in 2008, the Selenium RC got deprecated. Okay, means the Selenium RC and WebDriver got merged into the Selenium original project, and RC got deprecated, and the Selenium became the first primary tool. So coming forward in 2011, this Selenium WebDriver got the popularity because of its simplicity and its better capacity, or the better browser automation capabilities and support for the various programming language. You can see we can learn the Selenium with Java, we can learn the Selenium, how to write the Selenium script with Python or C Sharp or JavaScripts or Ruby. Okay, it has supports for the many language. So coming forward in 2013, Selenium project merged with the Appium project. I don't know you guys know or not, but if you are basic guys, I would tell Appium project. Appium is an open source tool. It is also the open source tools, and it is used for automating the mobile applications. Okay, so this contribution or this partnership with the Selenium, or this merging with the Appium project, got more popularity for the Selenium, and Selenium. I mean, its Selenium's capabilities got enhanced. Okay, coming forward in 2018, Selenium 4 was released. Actually, Selenium 4 is a recent version. In 2018, it got released with some enhancement and improvement, and they involved the new component like Selenium Grid and improved relative locators. We'll see the coming section what is the locators, what is Selenium Grid, and they provided the better supports for the modern web browsers. Okay, this is all about the history of the Selenium, guys. You no need to remember all this history. We'll go to next point. So this was the what is Selenium, guys. I mean, this is what is Selenium, and what is the Selenium, what is the history of the Selenium. Then coming forward, we'll see what is the Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so Selenium WebDriver, I would say I already told you that Selenium WebDriver is the one of the component of the Selenium, and The next point would be why it is called the Selenium. So we have to learn this, guys. Selenium WebDriver is the important component of for us, because Selenium WebDriver is the primary component, and we have to learn the coding, or we have to learn the automation with the Selenium WebDriver. So if someone asks you what is the definition of the Selenium WebDriver, I would suggest you can see three kind of definition. The first one would be Selenium WebDriver is the one of the component of the Selenium, as I already shown you on the official website. So you could say it's a one of the component of the Selenium. Second definition would be Selenium is a interface, guys. Selenium is a interface. So the question arises, why the Selenium is a interface? So why the Selenium is a interface? Why the Selenium is a Java interface? So when the Jason Huggins, or when these guys, or when the Selenium people were developing, actually when they were developing the Selenium project, those guys or those people were aware about what to create. Okay, so they were aware about this thing, that what they have to create, but they were not aware about how to implement those things. Okay, so that's why they created the WebDriver as an interface. Initially, they created the WebDriver as a Java interface. So you should be in the position to understand the interface, what is meaning by the interface. So I'll tell you what is meaning by the interface. I'll write the syntax of the interface here first. So interface is like interface, and I'll give the name Akshay, and I'll write the braces start, braces close. So actually this is the syntax of the interface, guys. You have to write the interface word in front of the interface, and you can give the any name for the interface, and it is similar like to the class only, but have to write the interface here. And in the interface, so why they created the like Selenium WebDriver as an interface, guys? Because they were aware about what to create, but they were not certain about how to implement those things. That's why they created the interface Selenium as an interface, and they wrote the multiple methods into the interface. And guys, the Selenium Java, or in the Java interface, whatever the interface is there in the Java, so Java interface provide the facilities to the developer to create the multiple methods without their implementations. Means they can simply write the methods like this, and it's okay. I mean, without their implementation, they can write the multiple methods into the interface. So that's why they created the multiple methods initially on the WebDriver interface. So I'll show you how exactly it was. Just a minute. Okay, I'll show you here. So initially they created the WebDriver as an interface, guys. Actually, they were aware about what to create, but they were not aware about how to implement those things. So just they created the random methods. They created the multiple methods into the this interface, WebDriver interface. And again, more methods were there. So you could see on the screen, these are the primary methods, or these were the primary methods. So initially they implemented into the Selenium interface, and so you can see these are the all the methods, but this WebDriver interface is not the parent interface, guys. Before that they implement one interface. His name was search context, so you could say search context was the first primary interface before the WebDriver interface. And I will write it here. i'll I'll write it here. I'll write it here. Okay. And I'll make it small little. Okay. So this search context interface was the primary interface, and this before this WebDriver interface, and this WebDriver interface extends the properties of the search context interface. Okay. So this is how internally they are interface are interconnected with each other. So this is how they created. So that's why we could say the WebDriver is a Java interface. Okay, you can simply say like this. You can see here in the search context interface there are two methods, and in the WebDriver interface there are 9 methods. So in partially, or in the broader aspects, we usually say that the Selenium WebDriver has a 9 method. There are many methods, but the primary or the most important methods are the 9 important methods. Okay. So this is the definition why the like Selenium is called or Selenium WebDriver is called as interface. Then I'd go for the next point. So the next definition would be, guys, why it is called as a API. Why the Selenium is called as a API. So before understanding it, why it called as a API, so you should be aware about the API. I'll tell you the exactly how the API is or how it works. So when it comes to any application, guys, any application, there are three layers of the application. That is, I'll say here, Facebook registration form or the Facebook registration page. This is called as a, guys, front end. Means usually we people use this by using the Chrome or any web browser. Second layer, this is the first layer, guys, that is a front end, or the client, we could say here. I'll write the client here, client. Then second layer is the business logic, guys. Business logic, actually, this is the code which developers usually write, and this is called as a backend, or is a business logic layer. I'll write here business logic layer, or you could say this is a backend also, business logic layer. And after the business logic layer, there's a database. Okay, so mostly in the broader aspects in the application, there are three kinds of layer. That is a front end, business logic layer, or the backend, or the this is a backend or the database. Okay, front end, usually backend, or the middle layer, or the business logic layer, and the database. Okay, so what is the API, guys? I would say I will write the API here. I will write the API word here, API. So whatever the business logic layer is, guys, whatever the actual business logic layer is, it is the API, guys. Actually, it's a API, we could say. So what exactly it works, how exactly the API works, I'll show here what exactly the API works. So we all have the Facebook account, guys. So in order to create the Facebook, we have registered ourselves with the Facebook. So when we go, or when any new user go to register page and try to register himself, so when he fills the detail and when he hit the register button, when he hit the register button, so through this client or through this Facebook client, we send the request to this business logic layer or the data backend. So with the help of this business logic layer, whatever the code is there, guys, whatever the code is there, backend code is there. So we are sending this request to this backend code with the help of this business logic layer. That is with the help of this API. Okay, so API process this request and perform the task, whatever it is, it has to do in order to create the account. And he creates the account by he creates the account and he registered the user into his database. So user ID and password, right here, user ID and password. With user ID and password, he registered the user into the database. Okay, so after once the user gets registered successfully, the database send the respond to this business logic layer, and this business logic layer send back the response to the registration page or the client. And on the registration page, we can see the green message that your registration got successful. So API is the middle layer, guys, is a middle business logic layer, which when user sends the request to the backend, this request interact with the API. So API act as a middle layer, and it takes the request from the client and the response from the backend or from the database, you could say in this case. Okay, so this is how exactly the API works, guys. So when coming to the WebDriver, I'll show you here. Just a minute. Okay, I'll erase this first. Okay, so where were we were on this definition, the third definition, why it is called as API. So for this, we have to see the internal architecture of the Selenium WebDriver, guys. When the Selenium, in order to write the Selenium script, we have to download the Selenium library or Selenium client, we could say. So for that, you just have to go on the Chrome. I'll show you from where we have to download it. Just a minute. So in order to download the Selenium client, we have to click here. We have to go to the Selenium dev, and you can see Selenium WebDriver. I'm just clicking on this read more, and okay, it's showing the read more. I'll just go to the download section. I'll just clicking here download, And you can see the different libraries are present, guys. The different libraries are present for the different languages. So we have here C Sharp. For the C Sharp, we have to download this. For the Ruby language, we have to download this. If you are learning Selenium Java, you have to download this Selenium client library. For the Java, for Python, we have to download this. For JavaScript, we have to download this. Okay, so so Selenium provides the interface, guys. I'll write here, or I'll show you how exactly internally it is. So when we download these libraries, I'll just click here, and you can see I'll just stop it here. Let me just stop this. Actually, I already okay, Selenium Java. This is zip file, guys. Okay, so actually we are downloading the zip file, or we could say this as a Selenium client. So it is the zip file, guys. So what this zip file contain? So whatever the zip file this zip file contains the multiple jar files. Okay, it contains the multiple jar files, and these multiple jar files contain the multiple classes. Okay, means in order to send these all classes, we just wrap these all classes into one file at one position, because these are the thousands of classes, or hundreds of thousands of classes is there, guys. So we cannot send the each class. So in order to send the classes together, we wrap those classes into the jar file. And the jar file, there if there are the multiple jar files, so we can't send like single jar file. So we'll keep, or we'll wrap the jar file into one file, that is the zip file. Okay, so we have to download the zip file. So we are downloading the Selenium client library, or Selenium client we could say, or Selenium client library. This is a Selenium client library. Just a minute, I will just erase this. So once we download the Selenium client library, I'll show you just a minute how exactly internal structure is. We'll see that first. Okay, we'll go back little. I will show you how exactly it is internally connected with each other, so that you can understand it in a better way. Okay, so from here, okay. So as I already told you, the first interface is not the WebDriver interface. The parent interface is the search context interface, and the search context interface is abstract. I mean, extend by this search. Just a minute, extend by this WebDriver interface. And we have, and what are the methods are there in this WebDriver interface, guys? So these methods are implemented by the different drivers, because initially they created the WebDriver as a interface, and later on they created the different classes for the different browsers, guys. Okay, they created the Chrome driver class for the Chrome browser. They created Firefox driver class. They created, just like, let me write here, Firefox driver class for the Firefox browser. They created Edge driver class for the Edge driver. So why, guys? I mean, why they created a different classes? They created a different classes for the different browser, and they implemented these WebDriver methods into these different browsers as per the browser requirements. Okay, because it might be possible, guys, because all the browsers we have, all the browsers are have the different architecture. So all the browsers internally are having the different architectures. So if we it's not mandatory that whatever the methods are there will work for the Chrome browser, will work for the Firefox browser. Because both are internally architecture is different, guys. So that's why for specific browser they have created the specific class, and in the specific class they have implemented the WebDriver methods. And this is how exactly internally the thing would is. Okay, so when we download the Selenium client library, guys, we'll get all these formats we are going to download. Okay, so means we are downloading the zip folder, and we are extracting this zip folder, and we are attaching this jar file in the Selenium Eclipse. We are going to attach this jars file, and I already told you these jar files would be having the different classes. So actually we are having these structures into our Eclipse. So how exactly it works, I'll show you. Just for that, let me show you the internal architecture diagram, internal architecture. So okay, just a minute. Okay, Okay. So when it comes to internal architecture, guys, you can see the Selenium provide the interface. So let's say we have the Selenium script with the Java we already have, and with the help of this Selenium script or with the Java, guys, we usually write the commands here. Let's say Selenium script we usually write here. Let me just copy those things and okay. Let me just reduce the size to 8. Okay. So this is our actual like WebDriver, guys. This is our actual WebDriver structures when we are downloading the libraries. So we are having this structure. So it structures or the WebDriver or the Selenium client, whatever it is, Selenium client or client libraries are there, guys. So this Selenium client libraries provide the interface to users to write the scripts. So once we add the jar file into our Eclipse, it provides the interface. So with that, with the help of Java, we can write the scripts here. I'll write here, let's say we have wrote the and Selenium script here, Java and Selenium script. Okay, we write the Java and Selenium script with the help of the Selenium libraries, and okay, and what we have this different type of browsers here, and we have the different types of drivers. So we download the drivers, different types of drivers for the different types of browsers. Okay, I'll write here, let's say Chrome driver, Chrome driver, like that it is Firefox driver, it is Gecko driver, and the same it is the Chrome browser, it is the Firefox browser, it is a Gecko driver. It's not Gecko means just a Firefox. It's a key for the Firefox driver, and I would say it is the Edge driver for the Edge browser. Okay, and Internet Explorer is the browser, guys. Actually, the browser got deprecated from the Microsoft itself because they launched the new browser, that is the Microsoft Edge browser. Okay, so once we write the JavaScript, guys, using the Selenium or the Selenium client library, and we are having these different types of browse drivers for the different types of browsers. Okay, so actually, in the earlier time, I mean, before the Selenium 4, we used to Selenium 4 got released. Got released in 2013. Sorry, 2018. 2018, the Selenium got released. Selenium 4 got released. 2018, Selenium 4 got released, guys. Okay. So before the Selenium 4, we used to download this Selenium client library. I showed you the place from where we used to download it for the Java. From here we used to download it. Just a minute. Okay, from here we used to download it before the Selenium 4, and we used to download the Chrome driver for the specific type of browsers. Okay, we used to download the different types of drivers, guys, for the different types of browsers before the Selenium 4. But in the Selenium 4, now we no need to like download the different types of drivers, because in Selenium 4 it provide the by default it is providing the drivers. We could say it's a Selenium manager, guys. Selenium WebDriver manager. In the technical term, it is Selenium WebDriver manager. Means after the Selenium 4, we no need to download the drivers separately. We will be having the browser on our system, and we are just downloading the Selenium library, and we are writing the scripts. Okay, but before 2018 or before Selenium 4, we used to download the different drivers or different classes for the different drivers. Means classes mean this is a Chrome driver is a class, so we used to download the different drivers for the different browsers. Okay, so when we write or when we execute these JavaScripts, this JavaScript does not directly interact with these browsers. This JavaScript, okay, So when we write the JavaScript with the Selenium JavaScript, the Selenium JavaScript does not directly interact with the browser, guys. Instead of that, the Selenium script interact with the WebDriver and the classes which implements the WebDriver action. Means it interact with the WebDriver and it stimulate the WebDriver actions. Let's say there is a application. On this application there is a login button is there, and when we write the script and when we execute the script, the Selenium script internally stimulate the get command or the like a submit button, or let's say submit button, submit command, or I'll say click command. See, Selenium script internally stimulate the click command, and then click command perform the actions on the respective button or the browser. Okay, so our Selenium script does not directly interact with the browsers. It's help. It takes the help of the Selenium WebDriver. So here Selenium WebDriver is playing the middle role, guys. Same like the API. As I told you in the API plays the middle role between the server or and the client, or client front end and the back end. API plays the middle role. Same like these guys here. The WebDriver is playing the middle role between the script and the browser. That's why it is called as a Selenium Selenium WebDriver as a API. So this is the reason, guys. Selenium WebDriver is called as a API. So internal architecture, it's quite it's not simple, guys. I will show you. I can show you something here. Like you can see here we have the W3C protocol. So in the Selenium 4 itself, before the Selenium 4, the WebDriver used to work with the JSON wire protocol. But in 2018 Selenium 4 got released, and with the another like W3C protocol. So what exactly the protocol is, I will cover the next session with for this protocol. That I mean, what exactly the WebDriver protocol is, how the protocol, how the script send the request to the WebDriver, how exactly the protocol looks like. Okay, what are the different types of protocol? I will cover that in the next section. So this was a session only about the Selenium WebDriver and the internal architecture of the Selenium, how it internally works. Okay, guys. So guys, this is what all about the introduction of the Selenium. If you like the video and if you want this kind of video, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want the notes, guys, you can just simply check out the comment section, or and you can simply check out the pin comment. You'll get the notes there. Okay. Thank you.